my husband in church.
Now, how did that work? Because after Navy/high school Bay
Yeah,
decides to
broke
walk
my
out,
heart.
yes, and go off to the Navy, in your mind, like, no one's going to deal with, you being
Oh, yeah.
HIV positive. You're also not in care at this time as
Right.
well. So, how does all that go down?
Yeah, so I get on MySpace and I'm starting to meet guys, and I'm a cute girl, so like, I'm posting pictures and people will DM me, and I went through this really hindsight kind of ignorant transformation. So like I remember one guy I met, we met up at some restaurant, and we're talking and getting to know each other. And I was like, so I got to tell you something. If this goes any further, I have HIV. So I'm just letting you know. I did that up front, blatantly, not really considering my safety, to weed out who was really for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd already had a high school boyfriend. The bar was here. So you got to meet me up here. So I wasn't thinking about being hurt by the rejection. I welcomed it because I'm like, if you reject me because of this, that means you're not for me. I've already had somebody that tells me that I'm beautiful despite this. So you being grossed out by it or you having a problem with it is not my problem.
Right.
And so I'm grateful for him for that because it helped me kind of stand on business about who I am. Also, sometimes it was a front. I wasn't always that confident, but I definitely utilized my status as a way to gauge, you just want to get in my pants or you actually care about me. So I was abstinent for a really long time. I dated, but I would disclose and guys wouldn't call me anymore. I remember one guy, we hung out a lot. We would watch movies, Netflix and chill, even though Netflix wasn't a thing. Excuse me, I'm so old.
You are not that old, girl.
No, it's just so weird. I'm sorry, that's a sidebar. Anyway, it's just weird. I hung out with this one guy, and he kept trying to kiss up on me and push up on me. And I was like, okay, we had been talking for about 2 months. I was like, I can't keep putting him off. Like, I mean, I can, but I need to explain something because I just kept saying, oh, not tonight. I'm not ready. And finally, I was like, okay, I need to tell you what's going on with me. Before I could open my mouth, he's like, you married? No, have you been with somebody who's like, why was that the first thing you said?
And why was that the worst to
And
you?
why was that the worst thing? Right. It gets worse. So he's like, you married? I was like, no, and before I could say, let me tell you, he's like, oh, you a dude. I was like, can you just shut up?
Please.
Can you just be quiet? Being quiet is free. Let me tell you. So I tell him, I was like, I was diagnosed with HIV. I explained to him, because now I'm educated. I explained to him how it's transmitted, so on and so forth. I'm not looking at him when I'm saying it, but I hear sniffling. And I look up at him. I was like, are you crying? And he's like, nah, I mean, I'm just saying. I was like, what's going on? Why are you crying? Well, I mean, all the times that you would be here and like I'd be trying to get some and you would tell me no, I would just call the next chick. So the thing that he was upset about was that he could have slept with me and I could have not told him. He still would have called the next chick. And he's thinking about all these girls. And I'm just looking at him. I was like, well, this will be the last time we hang out.
Yeah.
So it's nice knowing you.
But
I left him sitting on that bed crying. And I drove home. So I have a cell phone at this point. So I remember calling one of my girlfriends and we laughed. I was not laughing at his emotion, but just like, I dodged a good one on that. Like, goodness, I'm glad I waited. So I've had reactions like that. I've had some men tell me that I'm nasty and that I'm going to die and horrible things. I've had people lean in and ask for questions. I've had people completely ghost me, but then pop up later because they knew somebody else who was diagnosed and wanted me to talk to them. I hold a lot of secrets in Florida. I hold a lot of people's business. And then, of course, dating my husband, when we were dating, always tried to be on the same medications so that we could look out for one another.
so he was living with as well.
Sorry, yes. I always do that. I always blurt that or skip over it. I met him at church. My pastor introduced us because he knew what I was doing for a living as an advocate. He met my husband through one of the, my husband was in prison, through a work release program. And my husband told me, he's like, Pastor came to me, he says, I got somebody I need you to meet. And Pastor would come at me grinning, I got somebody I need you to meet. You got to help this person, Sister Gammon.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, cool. So I'm in advocate mode when I meet him. I don't look at him that romantically at all. I help him get connected to services because work release for people who are incarcerated, you know, getting connected to services looks a lot different than getting diagnosed and going straight to the doctor. So just making sure he had everything he needed, being with support, helping him disclose to his family. He's looking at me with Google eyes the whole time. Everybody sees it but me. My mom saw it. Me and her start bumping heads. I've never dated outside my race.
Okay.
She was not cool with it at all. But I knew as we were starting to date, because of conversations we were having, I knew I was going to marry him. And my mom was having abandonment issues because she and I are very, very close. Lived with her till I was 28 years old. And so she sees what everybody else sees between us, that we're going to be together and I'm going to leave. And she was doing everything in her power to make that not happen.
Wow.
And then she met him. And she said all she did was look in his eyes, her and her Jesus thing. She's like, his eyes are so blue like Jesus. And I was like, Mama, different conversation for a different day, but okay, that's what you see. But they had a beautiful interaction. And she said it wasn't just that, it was all the trauma that she had experienced from things that she had gone through with white men specifically.
Gotcha.
Melted away when she met him. And I wasn't there for that. I don't know what that interaction. I remember he came. We met up for something. I forgot why we met up I had to give him something. And I was like, so how did it go? Because I knew I had to go home. So I was like, what do I have to go home to? He was like, it was really good. Your mom is really funny. Everybody says that. And I was like, she's not, but okay. As long as you don't have any scars on you, you're good. So yeah, they were like best friends. And I say were because my husband passed. Sorry to hit you with all the sad news.
Sorry.
Yeah, he passed in 2019, right before COVID hit.
Okay.
He died in his sleep. He just went to sleep. He was older than me.
Okay.
Not that much older, 17 years. So he was early 50s.
Okay.
Wait. I don't know, because if I start doing the math, then other things might come up. Sorry, but yeah, he passed in his sleep, and we don't know what the actual cause was. He had some health issues. He had a GI bleed, and we don't know if it was related to HIV or not, or if there was something else. We didn't do an autopsy. His family didn't want one. So, yeah, I just have been figuring things out. And I have a whole new life now as a widow and living with HIV and carrying a lot of legacies with me in that. So, yeah.